My name is Nicole De Meneses. I'm a writer, director, producer in the Bay Area.
When sitting down to visualize the world you're working with, what are the first things you tend to see most clearly?
Well, like whenever I start a project, I usually go off of characters. So just build off one character after another and really focus on character motivation and what each character's goal is, what makes them tick. And that usually helps inform the world and the space that they're encompassing.
How do you like to introduce the elements of your world? A narration explaining everything right up front, through unspoken actions sprinkled throughout, through dialogue with your characters speaking to one another, or monologues where the character breaks the fourth wall and addresses your audience directly or talks to themselves, or combo, or something else entirely?
Well, because I am a filmmaker, I really try and avoid terrible voiceover. Usually that, there's a great way to do that if you are Charlie Kaufman and you make wonderful, interesting films. I think he's the only person I've seen be able to do that really well in film. But I'd rather show not tell. So I really love just throwing the audience into a situation, or like these are the characters and let them try and play catch up and figure out what's going on in the scene, as opposed to spoon feeding them. This is our setup. This is what's going on. Love Terrence Malick's work, but you can only take so many voiceovers before your head explodes. Definitely, I think it's fine. Like when you got your really rough draft and you just kind of blurt everything out, and then you kind of go back and you edit, and you're like, oh, I'm telling too much. I'm not showing it. And then so definitely learning how to edit and go back and be aware of that, because yes, it is. You're just not putting enough faith in your audience, and also I think you're being a little bit of a lazy storyteller. So I try and avoid that.
When it comes to world building, what element do you feel the most superfluous about more times than not?
Well, I definitely like grounding the characters with things that already exist. But because I do love genre and I love playing with existing genre that like either ghosts or different horror tropes, I try and adhere to certain rules that maybe people are more familiar with. And then as long as they are accepting of those things, then you can kind of play with the genre a little bit more. But if you just kind of just do something that's just a little too foreign to people, it just takes them out of it. So definitely trying to ground the characters in some type of reality that feels familiar to the audience, I think is helpful. Just working on I'm working on a paranormal rom-com right now, and so just thinking back to what we can usually expect in a ghost movie when there's a haunting, and trying to subvert expectations. That's what I'm thinking about. I try and make it, if people can relate to something in the scene, then I think they'll be more on board to go with me with the rest of the story.
Where do you feel most artists go wrong when it comes to world building?
I think not grounding it in some type of reality that makes it feel a little more believable. Like we all love the idea of like futuristic films and stuff like that, but there are definitely certain films that have lasted because there was something like very tangible about like the world that they built. You look at Blade Runner, it's probably like just the one that sticks out most to me, just the way that city was built and the way the characters encompass that world. You follow the Harrison Ford character, and he's like a detective type, and that just feels like a classic kind of film noir. Like we know what to expect from that character, and then when we're dealing with the other people and their powers and other things like that, then it's something new that's introduced in a creative way, but always having that base to go from, I think, is so important. The believability.
In thinking about your world expanding, is your approach to add things you already created outside of the story you are telling, or creating something from scratch, brand new, to add into and build upon the world that exists?
I definitely like to build on worlds that already exist and then play with certain traditional tropes. I'm currently working on, you'd seen Nightcap, one of my short films, and it has, LGBT vampires in it, and but just in thinking about how I can expand on that more and bring more queer characters in more of a traditionally male-dominated like horror genre, I'd written a couple other shorts, and wanted to go into the origin story for each character, and then kind of have Nightcap be like a middle film, and then have a third film that kind of summed up those characters. So just laying the groundwork of where those characters came from, and having how long they had lived, and what they had experienced and stuff that led them to the point that you saw them in the film Nightcap. But yeah, just giving them a base point of believability, like they're not, they might be otherworldly, but they're not all powerful. So that there's something, if even a mortal can break, or be weak, or have moments of questioning, or some self-doubt, I think is interesting, as opposed to just being, if nothing phases them, or they're untouchable, then that's kind of boring. Where's the drama, and where's the suspense if nothing can penetrate, or they're impenetrable, kind of thing. Well, you can go to ghostofstowlake.movie.com to sign up for our mailing list. That project is a bigger project, but we're still slowly moving along. We're looking for some more investors. But we also you can check me out on Bare Bones Flicks on Instagram. I'm always doing some kind of filmmaker get together. Everyone, I'm sure, I'm itching to get out there and film, but we're waiting for that to be okay so we can start doing that. So the mixer is going to be online, so we can network safely and enjoy people and hear about everybody's project. So please check out Bare Bones Flicks at Instagram if you want to follow any of the stuff that I'm doing.